Let's get the show started because you guys are on fire today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Building Bodies and Strengthening Minds. And as always, you got the normal host, Joe Sabusco to my right. Joe, how are you?
Good, Joe, Steve.
Everything is great. Tony?
Hey, doing great, Steve.
It's Tony Greco of the Fitness Empire fame, TG Athletics, and it's Gino Melito, who's from Orchard View and a fine right winger on this particular line. Wow. How are things, Gino?
Great. Thank you very much, Steve.
I didn't necessarily mean...
You shoot left. You're right?
I'm left and right.
Okay.
I'm ambidextrous.
I wasn't saying anything political either.
That's okay.
Not right wing, left wing. It was more like a hockey term anyway. And Lionscape. I should mention Lionscape as well. Get everybody's plug in there.
He was with some lions, by the way, this
weekend.
He
was showing me lions
Is that crazy?
On his cell phone.
This guy's an idiot.
And he had started... he had started messing with the idea. He wanted one of the Cubs.
Yeah, he put his hand in a cage.
Oh, boy.
I'm surprised you still have your hand.
All here, buddy.
Yeah, you're like a lion.
He's looking for a mascot for the business.
He wanted to actually bring one here.
You're going to
bring one here. I wanted to lie it down right in front of us. I could put my feet right on top of it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like that?
Nice.
I like with that.
What's your fantasy like for lions? Like
I love them. Fuck. I think they're so...
They are nice.
They don't give a shit.
What do you... There's got to be...
Because they just don't
king,
give a
the
shit.
king, being the king of the jungle.
They're not really, like people,
They are.
they're
They're the king of the
misunderstood, eh? They're good bosses, I find.
Yeah, they don't... Yeah.
They don't do the hunt. They let the women go out there, do the hunt, do the kill, and they show up. That's what they do.
All right.
That's why you like them.
I didn't know that.
And you like orchards because your place is surrounded by orchards?
Correct. I love apples.
And you like TG because that's you.
I like Black Panther.
I love food, Steve.
I actually
food.
like Black Panther.
That was beautiful, the one I
Yes.
showed you, eh?
Yeah, that was amazing.
All right. Well, maybe
I've always wanted a Black Panther.
Should have grabbed that one.
Black Panther Fitness.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
But he's actually going to bring in a cub. I actually believe that. A lion, a little cub.
Eventually.
Take care of him, and then you'll bring him back to the
Maybe.
zoo.
I think once they're a few months old, you watch out.
I think we need another chair for the lion because I think that'll be good.
They're beautiful.
Add a little spice to the
Beautiful
podcast. Yeah.
Honestly, beautiful animals.
If only you could keep them as pets, I agree with you. It'd be nice.
Let's get into the show. Today on the show, we want to talk a little bit about success and the ages of success. The age of 30 rolls around. You got to kind of be on your way is kind of what you want to talk about today, Tony.
Yeah, I was, again, most of our topics for this podcast is getting people's feedback and just listening to people, some of the obstacles that they encounter every day. And, you look at some of the young people these days and what happens is they don't have a sense of direction, meaning that, you know what, you're a beginner at everything that you do. You come into this world and you're a beginner. You get married, you're a beginner. You go to school, you're a beginner. You go to university, you're a beginner. Like you're always a beginner. Like there's not really a direction, like kind of like where you want to go. And that's why today's topic of, really getting the idea of getting your shit together by the time you're 30, 40, or 50. And there's a price to pay, meaning that, again, not everybody's got, the view or the idea or the success that they want to accomplish certain things in life. But with the lifestyle, that was the trade-off. That's the conversation I've been having with people. I'm like, look, you could do whatever you want. You can have whatever you want. But if you're trying to get a lifestyle of the rich and famous, then you can't sustain that with the job that you have. So as long as you're happy, and that's fine. And then vice versa. I think the whole idea is that people are mixing up the sacrifice that has to go with the success. Right. And that's what I want to talk about today.
Right. But there's various versions of success. A lot of people, like you said, they'll be happy with X amount of money or X amount of retirement money. So I guess we have to define it, that, you're basically talking about if you want a really, really comfortable retirement, right, that you have to get going by 30.
Yeah.
Well, how do you define success?
Well, that's my question to some degree.
Well,
Isn't it up to the individual?
it is.
I may be happy with maybe not even having a car. I could pay rent. I have a job that's paying me $20,000, $30,000, and I'm happy with that. Mm-hmm. There's some people who want 50, 60, maybe 100, maybe $1 million. And that's when they become happy. So your drive is what reach do you want to be at, or where do you want to be at a certain age? You talk about 30, 40, or 50.
Well, I think success is part of like having passion of what you do, what you're trying to do. You have to have a passion. I think success will come with the passion, whatever it is that you're trying to do. You need to have passion of what you're doing. So that way you put everything you have into it, because it doesn't become work for you, because everybody has to work, right? Like,
But I think you're happy where you are.
I am.
Even if you didn't get anything else, you're happy.
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty content. I'm very
I think
blessed.
whether it's-
And
whether it's financially, I know you're laughing, you're smiling, but it's true.
laughing.
Tony
This
does
is
not
about
even.
me. This is
No,
about
I know, but we're talking about an average field where you're a little bit more above average. But let's say you are happy and content where you are now. You are.
I've learned.
Maybe somebody like me may not be. Maybe I want something more.
You know what
like
it
my
is?
brother Val, he has a bigger drive. He wants to keep going and keep
But
going.
we always, and it's funny, we talked about this today at lunchtime. We always have that in our DNA. Entrepreneurship is always that's in our DNA. But what happens is you have to factor in the time, and that's the key thing. That's what makes me change.
Define time.
He said it perfect today, because there was an opportunity that arose, and he's like, you see, you're too comfortable. That's part of it. Part of it is that you don't have that light, you're not ignited anymore because, you're kind of comfortable. Am I right or wrong, Joe, right?
He's made it, so he doesn't want to lose it.
That's it. That's part of it, is the fear. Because that's what stops people from going forward, is that, you worked your bag off all your life, and you get to a comfort, and then you realize the sacrifice that's like, why am I really doing this for? I only technically have so much time. I could have this outcome about it. And, do I really want that? And it's like, for what? So that's what makes you make that decision. Whereas if I was younger and I didn't have that, I'd be like, bang, let's go, guys. And I'd be pounding that door every single day.
But that's how you were. Don't look at yourself now. That's how you were until you reach your goal. Right now, you're comfortable and happy. I remember when he was he was, had a school, you started your cassettes, your VHS tapes, and you were going crazy.
Whoa.
Nonstop.
What's this about?
What are you talking about?
Talking about him.
He's bootlegging over there?
Yeah. He pounded the pavement. He pounded the pavement to get where he is, but he didn't stop until he achieved his goal.
Okay.
Some people will not stop until they achieve their goal. But again, define somebody's goal. Somebody's goal could be 50,000 in the bank. Some other goal could be
that's
50
financial
million.
goal. That's
50
financial
million
goal.
in the bank. Oh, it could be money, or it could be maybe just having a house. Maybe it's having a family with children, and I'm happy with that.
The thing is, a lot of people today, we've talked about on our previous podcast, they're not happy. They're not, they have anxiety, high levels of anxiety. They're very, very depressed. And part of it has to do with, I think, of them, trying to find out their life. You know how many people I speak to, and it's like, they're trying to figure it out. Like, think about it if you were coming into this world right now, right? Figuring out your life. It'd be probably challenging under the circumstances that we have right now.
Life has changed
a terrible
in the last 40
government,
years.
right? Like, people are like, you guys know, we see it all the time. It's not the way it used to be. People are unhappy. So now you're dealing with unhappy people. Financially, people are hurting. It's getting worse and worse and worse. We're distracted by, things that are going on in the world every day. It's not easy. So what happens is a lot of these people have no sense of direction. They do follow a curriculum of, okay, I'm going to university, I got this, or I'm going to high school, I got this. But there's not really any direction on what they truly.
Like the ultimate goal is what you're saying. They don't,
what
they don't
what's-
have an ultimate goal and what they want to do or what they want to achieve.
Yeah, they're unhappy.
Maybe it's not clearly defined.
It's not. It's not. And it's like, and then what happens is they expect high expectations because of all the surroundings, like the social media world and people that are success. And then all of a sudden it's not like that, because they realize, holy geez, example, you got like, parents that are, fairly wealthy, and they bring up their kids and they kind of spoil their kids, because intentionally that's what we kind of try not to do, but we all do it in a way. And then all of a sudden these people break away and go out into the real world and go, wow, this is a friggin' kick in the face. Yeah, it is. So that's why, the more people in general now can say, look, you know what? I need to get my stuff and what it is that I truly want by the age of 30. I think realistically, if I were to put a number, like, I know they're going to talk about people that have been successful, but if you don't have your priorities straight by 40, I think it's going to be tough. On a financial note, I'm saying. And I'll tell you why. Because I remember in high school, and a very good friend of mine who lives in Toronto now, and he left high school. This guy was, a friggin' workhorse, and I knew he was going to be successful. And this day and age, he's got like 6 different cars in his garage. He's one of the biggest condo builders, in Ontario. Very successful, but a workhorse, would work like a dog. but he gave me an indication because he made this mathematical equation saying, look, you can go to university. Okay, let's say you're going to be a doctor or lawyer. Okay, by the time you spend $100,000 in tuition, that's actually pretty low considering where you go.
Well, in Canada, it's about right, about 100,000.
Okay, 100,000 now. You're 20 years old and you're now in university for 7 to 10 years by the time you get in the workforce, right? Is that correct?
6 to 8.
You're looking at me. I never went to school.
For lawyers,
It's a
6 to
reasonable
8.
guess.
Okay,
yes.
so now you're 30, right? So now you're $100,000 in debt, right? That's a very conservative number, $100,000. So now you got to pay that off, right? Then you got to start your life. And I mean, how long is that going to take you? 100,000. Let's say you're a young doctor. What do you think, a doctor, lawyer? What do you think is the highest?
Doesn't matter. Lawyer,
whatever.
doctor, engineer.
Some guy that's
a profession.
Okay, so let's say you're starting at what, 150,000. By the time you pay for your car, pay your rent, pay your insurance, pay your groceries, pay your debt. How is that possibly? Now you're 40 and you're still not out of debt. Think about it.
But you have a title.
But you have a title. So now
Ooh.
you're 40.
Yeah, but guys, let's think about how much a professional like that makes.
Yeah, but you have
Not- not-
not much.
Not
What are
everybody.
you talking about?
does a doctor make?
How much?
Minimum a quarter to $500,000 a
A
year.
GP.
No.
These professionals
A
you're
GP
talking.
makes $500,000 a year?
Yes,
No. Not a
250
chance.
to $500,000.
Not a chance.
You think so?
Steve.
That would be my spectrum too.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I think you guys.
Depending
know.
on the
I don't-
level
I
of
agree
I think you guys
the,
watch.
the level of expertise you're at.
But
and you're-
let's say, okay, so even let's say that. So now you're almost 50, and now you probably gonna. I hope well, let's say you get married or you got married. There's an expense. Then your kids, there's an expense. So really, now you're almost 60. You're ready to retire, and you still don't think about. I could go through this. I
Come
remember,
on, man.
Well, listen, I've talked to a lot of good friends that are in the high level.
all your
professional
friends
jobs,
are millionaires.
and
first of all.
they've said that if they look at the time that they put into to be where they are at the level that they're at the age that they're at, they wouldn't do it again because a lot of these guys are burnt out. They're working, and don't forget too, it's not like it's a 9 to 5 job and you're going home. Some of these guys are working like 16 hours a day. So that 250 that you're dreaming about, maybe how much does that narrow it down per hour? You know, that you have to factor in. But point is, to make a long story short, is that when you do that equation, you're really, I think, out of debt maybe by 55. I'm being serious here. I'm not a mathematician, but if you actually sat down and calculated all this stuff, so 55, and now all of a sudden you're trying to retire in 10 years, but you just got
I'm
out
going
of
to tell you
debt.
something. As a businessman, you're never out of debt. If you're out of debt, you have a problem.
We're not talking to business.
You're not going to be out of debt.
We're
You will
talking about
never
a
be out of
professional.
debt.
We're not talking
Because
about a
you're
businessman.
building wealth. So you'll always have some debt. You may have a mortgage on a piece of property.
How did we get to
You
debt?
may have it because it's true. You're never going to be out of debt. You think you're going to be out of debt at 60? You might as well wait to die.
Tony's been out of debt
what are you
for
talking
15
about?
years.
What is your call? Well, what is your call? What is your belief? You have to.
No,
you
no.
have to believe.
Well, let me show you how to get there because you turned it into a business conversation. all
Well,
of a
no,
sudden.
it isn't. It's actually.
Okay, so my point being is
Can I
that
just intervene for just 1 second?
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to go down either of these roads with you guys.
Yeah.
Are we going down the road to providing solutions to
Yes,
people?
that's what we're doing.
Or are we ripping people to shreds?
No,
who
we're
didn't get it
providing
done?
solutions.
Okay.
And the solutions are that you need to get your shit together on what it is that, you're trying to do. And you need to accept the fact that you got to get up and work because at this time in your life, you're not 15, you're not 16, you're, let's say 30, you're 30. Like, wake up. Joe said last podcast, go to work. Like, work every day on and what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And then, you know what? Don't look back because if you don't end up fulfilling your dream, then you're just going to be working for somebody else for a purpose. That's basically what happens.
That's fine.
And that's fine.
We need that.
Yes, you need that. But at least you can now, if you're listening to this, go, hey, you know what? That's fine. You know what I mean? If that's what you want.
I think we have to ask the question, or what?
Or
if we
what?
don't get it done after age 30 or 40, whatever the number is, or what? Is it a case of they won't in retirement have as much money as you think they should have?
That's right.
Or are they just going to be, rolling into retirement with, on the street,
pension plan.
on the streets?
Yeah, that's
with
exactly.
with a
Listen,
job.
look, numbers don't lie, stats don't lie. Do the numbers, and if you do the numbers, you you face the reality that that's what happened. We're all speaking because we're kind of pretty good at the level that we're at. But yeah, if you do those numbers, if you don't get to them, it's just not going to happen. It's like anything else. At the end of the month, you calculate your bills. If you're making 10,000 and your bills are 20, how the heck are you paying them? You go to your credit card, then you're paying that interest. How are you going to get out of debt? That's what creates anxiety, depression, and financial stress is a big, big thing. Even among couples, it's one of the, I remember talking to the psychologist, it's one of the worst things that causes, the clash of opinions among two people is financial stress.
Even in families that are considered wealthy.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I want to get Joe in here.
So if we back up 20 years.
Yeah.
Media wasn't around. The phones weren't around, right? 20 years ago, not too long ago.
Yeah.
All right? People did make do with what they had. They had, a young couple that got married, each had a good little job, was making that 40, 50,000 each, right? Bought a house, started a family. There was no problem. Like, there was not that much stress.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Agree.
Anxiety was really hitting the poor people. The anxiety I found back then was mostly the poor people. Why is he a drug addict? Because they weren't very rich, so they turned to alcohol. They turned to drugs. The people that were middle class, they had a great life. I mean, my parents were middle class. We had a phenomenal life. There was no Ferraris in our yard, but we had a nice house. We had good food, good family time. Today, I think, even if you offer a kid $200,000 a year, right?
That's a lot of money.
It is. But even if you offer that kid $200,000, there'll still be the depression, the anxiety, because the society, the way it's showing it to you on the phone, it's not enough. It's not enough. So when is it enough?
That's so true. I totally agree with that. And that's part of the reason why we want to carry this conversation, because people in general, the younger people in their, even like I said, 30s or 40s, you have to get your shit together, think that is the reality.
But even
they
younger
think
than
life is like, they think that life has become like that. And that's a serious problem. That's why like the cases of depression, anxieties are rising, mental health. I mean, a lot of it's part of that, right? It's because they see that picture and they think that that's the reality, and it's not,
It's not.
It's not.
And it's all the media that they see, they see people on boats, people on vacation.
Yeah.
People don't work and they're on vacation. But how do you post these vacations when you're not working?
And a lot of them fake it. A lot of them fake it too. But
regardless. And then you got these little girls and these little boys that are in university, coming out of university, they can't land a job over $60,000. And wow, I went to school for $60,000. Yes, you went to school for $60,000. Consider yourself lucky. But instead, no. They think they're coming out of school making $500,000, $600,000.
Their expectation is a little bit higher than
I
the
think
average.
society
the
today,
average
the
person.
expectation is very high.
Yeah. And then they make it, and it is very high. And then the thing is, with everything that's going on in the world, like I said, the identifying the problem is you don't know what you truly want. Let's say coming out of university, but let's say you become that top professional. By the time you 5% for the house down, am I correct? What is it?
Yeah,
first,
let's
the
not go
money's
back
first.
into
Let's
that,
not go
bro.
back down. So 5%. We didn't even have the mortgage payment to that bill, by the way. So we had the debt of the tuition. You had the car, the insurance, your mortgage. We forgot the mortgage in there too.
You eat hydro.
Okay, exactly.
Food on the table. Clothes on your back.
Water bill.
So it's like that's what I'm
Doesn't
saying.
end.
So that's and that you're not even ahead. You're just maybe floating.
You're floating.
If you have that job that's paying you $250.
There is no jobs out there.
Yeah, but no, because we're talking about
guys,
the doctor.
Guys, they fucking throw numbers.
Yeah.
$250.
I have a belief you live life based on the level that you're at. So if you're making $100,000, you're living that $100,000 life. If you're making $250,000, you're living that $250,000 life.
you make $100,000.
If you're making $50,000, then you can't afford $1 million home.
You know why our parents were successful? What little they had?
They didn't spend.
Because they had the 100,000, right? But they used to live for 50,000.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
that I do.
Today,
Yes.
Yeah, that's
The
exactly
kid
it.
who's making 50, he's living like he's making 200.
Correct.
He's got the Rolex.
Yeah.
He's got the big chain. He's on vacation.
Yeah, you're right.
And they want all this.
And
I
they
think,
load those credit cards for what?
Yeah, and that's part of it is, and we've talked about this in recent episodes, that as children, they were so coddled, they didn't really learn the hustle. They didn't learn to strive. They didn't learn to overcome. And I think that's why we worry about the under 30 crowd getting to where they want to be, because they don't naturally have those things.
I think the biggest mistake, Steve, is the parents. They're encouraging their kids to educate themselves. Okay, I think that's the biggest mistake, is telling your kid, "Oh, you got to go to school and become a doctor." I think that is the worst thing to do to a child. A child should do what he wants or she wants to do.
As long as they're happy.
They want to go to school, go to school. You know, they want to be doctors, be doctors. Other than that, you can't have a perfect world, Tony.
I know.
We can't have every person a business person. Then we'd have no employees. You know?
It's true.
Everybody can't be an influencer.
No.
Well, I find parents today, and I'm not the one to, you don't want to criticize parents, because you're right. I mean, there's different kinds of parents, and there's great parents out there. But I find parents right now are telling their kids not to work because you have to focus on your school. Where does that come from? What's wrong with you're going to university, you're going to, even if you're going to high school and you're 18 years old or 17, why are you not getting a part-time job? Learning what life is really all about, even if it's only a few hours a week.
Because that cuts into my Instagram time.
Yeah, possibly. But that's what's going on.
And the moms.
But I know parents who tell me, because I employ certain students, he's got to focus on school, he can't work.
Right.
But he's only working 1 day a week, which is only 4 hours. I'm sorry, he can't. School is much more important than having a job at this time.
And mom's
But they don't
telling the
realize
daughters
what
to
they're
marry
learning.
rich.
They don't realize what they're learning in those 4 hours a week or 8 hours or 10 hours a week. They're learning what life's really all about. It's going to give them the drive to move on and become somebody.
So let's just say someone is starting their life, right? How realistic?
What age are we talking about?
We're talking
20.
No. Let's say
Out of school,
let's say
26.
26.
Out of school.
Okay, out of school. Good. Okay, 26. Is it possible, okay, for them to have a house, buy a car, start a family, what else? Go on vacation once a year? Is that possible? Yes or no?
No, absolutely
not?
not.
For a small
Okay.
percentage, yes.
Yeah.
For the majority, no.
Exactly. So that was
But that small percentage is because the parents are behind them helping them. Otherwise,
Or they may have come out with a, engineering degree and they got a job right away and they can afford these things that you talk about.
So let's look at the two perspectives.
Let's look at the average person.
Let's look at the people that come out and are engineers and whatever.
Okay, what do you think the average pay is as soon as you come out of school? What a degree?
well, hold on a
That's
second.
a good
What,
question.
he needs-
That's a good
what
question.
profession? What profession though?
Whatever you
Whatever.
Engineer. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The average salary of an engineer,
No, coming out of school.
like of all occupations. Is that what
No, I just got my engineer degree. I just finished the Ottawa U. I am now a full-fledged engineer. Now I'm going
mechanical,
exactly.
electrical,
Now
whatever.
I'm going to work for some company.
Oh, I'd guess 70 or 80.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay.
So multiply that by 2. Engineers marry engineers. Let's just say.
That's-
Well, let's
just
say
say-
160,000,
Okay.
Okay.
How much is a house today?
$1 million,
Let's
500,000.
A fucking condo. How much is a
But
condo?
my-
$1 million.
that's- I
$1
said
million.
let's say 500,000.
Entry level would be 400 probably now, right?
For a condo, one room apartment condo. How much they?
400.
Is it 400?
It's probably more, but let's say 400.
Yes, but again,
Hold on,
guys,
Gino's a
No,
tycoon.
hold on.
That's
but
not
hold on a
fucking real estate
second.
everywhere.
Again, I understand, but you guys don't understand. Why is it that you have to buy a condo when you first?
Because it's
start?
just me and a
Why
broad.
can't you pay rent?
No, I'm just getting there.
We're just
getting
just
there.
giving you.
He's
we're
making
getting
a
there.
follow
We're getting
us.
there.
Follow
Just
us,
follow
Gino.
us. Okay, so 400.
How much is a condo, Gino? Because you own
Right now, probably
17, 20 real estate
500,000.
property.
Let's say if you can get a decent condo, 500,000 would be entry level about 400.
Okay, so those 2 kids need 25,000 in practice, right? To qualify for a loan or 10%. What do they need? I don't know.
I think right now you can-
25%.
Your first home, you
home.
still got at 5%.
5%. So they need that 25,000.
Yeah.
Question is, do they have it?
They don't have it because they just came out of school. They don't have it. They're paying their debt.
But they can get that. When they're professional like that, they can go to the bank. You make that kind of money, the bank will give you the 25.
Okay, so let's say they get it.
They got the 25.
Okay, now
Let's get to the point.
yeah, let's get to the point. Exactly.
On
Go.
$500,000 mortgage at 6%, what is it? Come on, Gino, 5.
You
It's
said
3,000.
five-
It's 3,000.
Hold on, but you
3,000.
just said 400. Now you went to 500.
No, 500. We went to 500, 25 down,
Yeah.
475, 6%. We're at 3,000 a month.
Exactly. Now the car payment is an extra 1,000. You got 4,000. Now you got gas. Then you got insurance. Then you got food that you got to put on the table.
Most of them don't because they're used to going out with their friends at the restaurant, putting
Exactly.
the lipstick, doing their hair, get the Prada pants, get the Prada jacket.
Yeah.
What was that thing? Essential.
Yeah, essential hoodies. Yeah.
Don't forget
$800
don't forget their $9 coffee at Starbucks.
Oh, that's exactly
A latte.
That's where now based on that, and that's an engineer.
Keep going.
No, because
Okay,
don't
so
forget, these kids were able
No,
to
hold
do
on
that
a sec. Hold on.
because they
Go
were
ahead, I'll have
going
an
home.
answer for you. Finish your thought.
So how much is that a month? How much does that cost? a month?
Guys, you're talking about somebody who's already wants to get a head start in life before they even start to walk. Get a job.
That is a
Pay
job.
your rent.
That is a job.
They got a
But
job.
you just want the guy to already have a car. You want to have a Maserati in the
Okay,
front.
Gino,
You have a $500,000
Gino,
car.
hold on a second. No, I think you're missing the boat.
$1,000 is not a Maserati.
You're missing you're missing the
You're
boat.
far from a
All I'm
Maserati.
saying is, guys,
The fucking Honda Civic
you
at best.
want to already have you're just getting out of school. You're getting a job. You want me to already have a condo. You want me to have a car.
You're
You
moving
have-
out. You're 30 years
It
old.
doesn't matter. I can move in and get a rent. I can rent for $2,500 a month.
It's still
But you're
$3,000
still
a month.
$3,000 a month.
It doesn't matter. I don't have no
Perfect. Let's rent for
responsibility.
$3,000
Okay, let's rent for $2,500.
Yes. Okay.
Let's do that.
Then
No
let's-
responsibility.
then let's go
Heat and
$500.
Let's go 3,000 heat, hydro, and rent.
3,000.
Yes, you have a decent apartment or a decent home.
Fantastic.
3,000 a month. I know because I rent one. Okay.
I know you have like what 15, 16
No,
of
no.
them.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And how many times is your rent late? Lots of times. And don't say it isn't because I hear you on the phone.
There is a few losers.
Ah,
out
there you go. Okay. And
Okay,
that's
somebody-
there you go. And that's not even kids. It's adults.
But that's because they're not working.
Okay.
Because they don't make it.
The point being, let's stay mathematically in check here, right? The point is that you can't mathematically make it. And that level of degree of trying to fight it, you know how hard it is when you go to somewhere and you don't see any progress? How much that is on your brain? You probably experienced it when you were younger, but imagine every day getting up and you're not seeing progress. Your progress is you're going backwards because you got to make that ends meet. What does that do to someone?
Why don't we look at where we came from?
We do. That's
So I got married. You think I had a house? I didn't. I rented an apartment.
but times have changed.
Okay, so that means I have to have a house now.
No.
Gino,
no,
you
I'm
didn't
just-
wear Nike shoes back then.
That's
No,
right.
I didn't.
You know,
And
you
why-
went
I don't-
to.
And
you
by the way,
went to
I don't have
Zellers.
to wear Nike shoes
You went
today
to
either.
Zellers, $12. You put on a
Yeah,
pair of sneakers.
that's
and-
right.
And you're,
That's
but
right.
But that's what we're talking about.
That's
So
what
we're
we're talking
talking. Okay,
about.
hold on a second.
That's
We're
not
talking-
today no more.
Again,
That's
we're
right.
talking about expectations.
It's not the expectation.
that's what's
of
happening.
parents.
So you're a prime example of what parents expect for the children to do. You want to finish school now? Get out. Oh, what are you doing? Don't you have enough money to buy a house? You should have enough money to buy a house. You should have money to have a car. You should have enough money to. Why not just get at? As long as you have a little bit of a start by,
Yeah, that is
by
the
having
start.
the money to rent an apartment, make your car payments, pay your insurance, get food on the table, have a job. Have a job is the first thing.
Yeah. They can't even do that though, Gino. People.
You can't have a job?
No, people have. Listen. I talk to people every day. Like
As I do.
I
Well,
remember
people
going
that
to
are young
restaurants.
people.
Used to talk to a waiter or a waitress, right? Back in the days, used to go to a restaurant, talk to a waiter or a waitress.
Prime example. They live.
They hold on a second. They weren't waitresses or waiters. They were kids in university. One was studying to be a dentist. One was studying to be a nurse. One was, you know what I'm saying? Those kids studying to become something. You go out there today, those kids are not there. The ones that are studying to be doctors, they're not being waiters. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we said earlier.
They have the mom and the dad that's backing them up.
Yes.
Oh, my daughter is going to be a doctor. And, what do you need, sweetheart? You need Nike shoes? Yeah. I need a car. I need tires. I need this. I need that. Then they go look for the boyfriend. The boyfriend's parents has to have money too. They can't just date a regular guy. Like that guy there has to have the credentials too, the parents, right? And now they're going to live their life on those two parents' expectations. So mom and dad, when they get married, they're going to throw that fucking $500,000 wedding, the carriages and the big, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Those are parents that are far and few between.
But there's
These-
a lot
they
of
need a
parents
bit
out
of a
there
reality
that-
check.
Yeah, I know, but there's too many of them out there. There's too many of those parents, even if they don't have money, they have leverages on their property. So even the parents, they think they're at that level. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of parents out there that think they're at that level, leveraging their home. They bought their home $200,000. It's worth 1.3 today. Their head, they have that leverage. You know what I'm saying? So they're living with that leverage, and they're going to say, oh, well, my kids cannot do that. Mothers are telling their daughters, you better marry rich. Where's this rich coming
I
from?
don't know, but you're right though. I know.
But where the fuck is this rich coming from? From the kid's parents. Because that kid, he's coming out of school just like your daughter, you know? And it doesn't guarantee him that he's going to be making that $200,000 salary.
So what are we telling that age group? Are we telling them to grind and
Fucking
sacrifice?
wake up.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. So we're telling them to grind, sacrifice, get in the housing market, get investments going, and then you got a shot.
Yeah.
Is that it?
You got, it's based. I would say if I'm the counselor, I'd be like, look, put your life on hold for the next 12 years. Let's say you're 20. I'm going to go to like 35. So 15 years. Put your life on hold for the next 15 years. Well, what does that mean? You're not going out once a week like these kids now, like Starbucks, holding the Starbucks coffee, $5 latte every day times 5, that's 25 a week. You could do the math. So you're not doing any of that. You're basically going to work and grind it out for 15 years. And then by the time you're 35, you can look at your financial situation. And then from there, you'll have a very good idea. But if you don't get to that level, and it's hard unless your mom and dad gives it to you or whatever. I'm just talking someone that has to make it here, okay? Work your bag off every day. You might have to do 2 jobs. Sacrifice. Called sacrifice, but I don't think people know what that word is or what it really exists of. And then for 15 years, put a little bit of away. And then I'd say like at least, 80%, do the bare minimal, and then revisit that and then decide how much time you need to get to that next level, whatever that number may be. But if you don't do that, unless you inherited, win a lottery, I don't know, maybe prove me wrong. I think it's hard for some.
I think the rich marry the rich.
I think Tony's a little 10 years too premature. No 20-year-old is going to put their life on hold. I can guarantee
Not on hold.
that.
It's not on hold. It means you
Also
don't
known as
go-
the best years of your life, by the way, right?
But that's
my point.
But that's
So
what you
I'm
got-
saying enjoy your life till you're about 30, 32. The next 20 years, work your ass off.
that's 50. You're 50
Yes,
now.
yes. At 50. If you have not made it at 50, you will not make it. You
I
may
think if you
make
haven't
it,
made
but
at 40.
that's you really have to work very, very hard after 50 because what happens is, between 30 and 40, you want more money. Between 40 and 50, you want more money. Between 50 and 60, you even want more money. It just doesn't stop.
No,
So
well, no,
it depends on the
I
person.
disagree. I disagree. It depends on the person. You got to make it and make it fast, Gino. That's the
If
prime
you
example.
don't make
Because you
it-
never know what the future holds. You got to create. You got to make it and make it fast.
That doesn't
Because when
exist.
you make it, you know what I mean? 15 years to put your life. I'm not saying, listen, we did it.
15 years is nothing. Nobody's gonna do it for
we
20 or
did it. We
35.
did it because our parents were poor. So we had no choice. We didn't have the fancy car. I drove a friggin' Citation with no friggin' bumper for 4 years and barely any brakes. Then I had a friggin' Acadia, whatever, like something.
Well, did it?
Yeah, I know that's
You didn't make it fast, Tony.
well. I grinded out through
I'm saying-
my 20s, my 22 to 30.
No, 20 to
five-
30, I think
was my best years.
You enjoyed your life 20 to 30.
Not really.
Yeah, you
How'd I
worked, but
enjoy
you
it?
also enjoyed your life.
No, I didn't. I was a guy that went all the time. My friends that are listening know that. I played football. I worked. I had 3 jobs. I had a girlfriend. I didn't do much. I didn't go. You know the life that these young kids are going right now? Out to dinner Friday, with friends at these high-end places. I never had that. These guys are enjoying margaritas and these funny,
Where-
these crazy drinks. I'm like, how come I didn't have that at 20? In their BMW, picking up the other person. Come on, man. And wearing fancy clothes. We wore the Spark shoes for a year until they were friggin' the white ones became brown. You know what I mean?
Well,
these
and when
guys-
we did go out for a drink, we didn't have to take out a second loan or anything like that.
Yeah,
Like I
it
watch
was-
kids go out today and they have 4 drinks and they're, $80 tab.
It's crazy.
It's nuts.
It is. And I'm sure your parents didn't give you money. If I asked my dad for $100 to go out because we're going out to dinner, he gave me a backhand right in the head.
That never happened
He just
with
didn't
us.
do that.
That-
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
We
so,
worked.
our Friday night dinner was sitting at home and then you run out by the back door and escape and, I don't know, kick the soccer ball or football and end up somewhere with your friends. But you wouldn't, the life is crazy that they live. the
I
kids
think
now.
banks are to blame for this shit.
Who?
Banks. At 18, a kid turns 18. They right away they're already harassing them. Well, you should get yourself a credit card.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
they're right in the college.
Yeah.
Offering up the
$500. They
MasterCard.
start with a $500
Yeah,
credit card.
that's right.
You know,
Yep.
that's where the poison starts. That's where the poison starts. Because
Yes and no, but they tell you should be building your credit, right? So unless you're an abuser of a credit card
they all are.
and you're actually building your credit, it is a good thing to have.
Why,
Agree.
why are-
I agree
If you're
with that.
responsible.
Yeah, but
How
you-
18, 19
You
years
should
old
now
are.
have you should have a limit,
It
and
becomes a little difficult.
I think every
Sorry,
But
Tom.
go ahead.
$500
Gino,
is
you
not
read
that
up.
bad.
You read up a lot at night. I know you do a lot of research because you're the research guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
name one book he's read. Name one book he's read.
credit companies, credit card companies.
Name me one book.
Credit,
There it is. It's
Strong
Tony's
Mind,
book.
Lean Body.
gee,
That's the book I've been
Gee,
reading.
don't-
I still haven't, I'm on the 10th page.
Gino, credit cards. How much money are they making
Billions.
a year?
Billions, yes.
Just interest.
Yeah.
They don't want the guy to pay his bill at the end of the month.
No, they want the payments.
Exactly. They target these little people with these credit cards. And yes, they have fantastic credit because, they make their bare minimum and they're building credit, right? From 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 10. They live on credit. They have no money, but yet they spend like they have. And I don't get it.
I know
They're
many
forever
people.
adding to your limit, too.
Yes.
Just sneakily, without even
Yes.
telling you. We'll just throw another $5,000
That's
on
right.
the limit.
That's right. And you're right. Some of these credit cards continue, like monthly payments, continuously at 20, 30% interest.
So where are these kids going?
Unless you're disciplined, you're in big trouble.
But that's their discipline. They're disciplined that way. They're being taught that way. They're being taught credit. They're being taught live a lavish life with no money. Find a rich husband, find a rich family. That's how they're being taught. All the kids.
Tony.
Okay, so here, this is great.
He's winding,
I'm
up, to, winding up to something good here.
I'm gonna give you a scenario, okay? And the reason why I'm doing this scenario is
Is it a
that
true life scenario?
yeah, it is a true life scenario. And the reason why I'm giving you this scenario is because to inspire young people out there, whether they would be willing to take the challenge. Okay, you ready for this? Sure. Give me a drum roll. Okay, so let's say you're 22 years old, and you're $250,000 in debt.
Can you try to get out of college? Let's go 24.
Okay, 24. Okay. So all of a sudden, you're in a helicopter. I drop you right in New York City. You have no money.
Okay.
You're broke, but you owe $250,000.
Okay.
So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick up. Well, now there's no more newspapers, but you're going to ask someone where you could work, and possibly you're going to get a job at a restaurant because everybody's looking for someone at a restaurant.
You don't need
right?
a paper. You just
You
go
need
to
a paper. You go to a restaurant. So now you're hired. Okay. So part of that restaurant, now you need food, right? Because you don't have any money. Right. So whatever, they pay you $600 a week at the restaurant. Okay, I'll take the job. Whatever. Well, yeah. No.
$600 a week as a dishwasher, or what are you doing?
No, as a waiter.
Waiter, you with
whatever,
tips?
chef, whatever. Anyways, let's say 500. Okay. Now all of a sudden you're like, listen, I have no money. I need to eat here. So you're gonna eat three meals a day. You're gonna eat them at the restaurant. Now you don't have any shelter because you don't have any money. So you may be gonna ask the restaurant owner or that knows someone that's 6 degrees separation. Say, look, I need to sleep somewhere. So maybe the first 3 nights you might even have to sleep in the restaurant. Who knows? Until you find some place where you negotiate a second job. Some rental property like you that has 5,000 properties and say, look, I'll manage them for you, but I need a room. Chances are you're probably going to give me a room, right? Not the greatest room, but I just need a room to sleep with, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I got a room. So I got a room, I got shelter, I got food, I got a job. Now I got to start paying my loan. So if I contribute, 80% of my pay to that $250,000.
80%?
Yes, because don't forget, I don't need anything else. I'm getting fed, I'm sleeping, and I'm working, right? Think about it.
80% is a little high.
But I'm getting all this necessity I do. This is where I'm going
Keep
with
going.
this.
Go ahead.
So my point is that I think I remember I did this in high school is that because of the compound, because you're 250 now will be or whatever. Let's say you're 80% of 500 that you contribute, and then the next week it compounds and so on. So I think by the end of 5 years, you would have paid that $250,000 loan off, and then you continue to sacrifice another 5, and then you're in the real world putting that same amount towards a mortgage back then. Now the rates have changed, but I think you come out as a successful millionaire about 20 years later. But did you see the sacrifice I painted? How many people would be willing to do that?
Yeah, but I can see you being a millionaire in 20 years.
But did you know what I mean about that scenario? That's realistic. I don't have but I remember doing it, and that was back with the rates back then and the cost of living. But now it's like, think of it. Do you think you'd be able to do that for, let's say now it's 8 years. You think you'll be able to 8 years straight? You're working at that same restaurant. You're eating at that same restaurant. You're sleeping in some place that's just a bed. And again, you're just living. Yeah. Think about it. That's the sacrifice. Now, but that's, I mean, paint me a different picture with that number. I'd be very happy to hear it. But you're $250,000 in debt right now. You show me how you're going to get out of that in the next 10 years.
Well, trying not to get that far in debt would be step one. As we wrap things up today, let's go around the table one time, because we've all got kids, and let's say talk to a 26-year-old version of, maybe some of us have 26-year-olds, right? Close here, actually. But go around the table one time, and maybe for the camera, share with us what you would tell your child about getting on the right path to some level of financial independence later in life. Well, do you want to start, Gino? Who wants to start?
So I would say that you need to believe in yourself. I think that's the most important part of anything you undertake in life. Believe in yourself.
He's talking to his child right now. Be quiet.
No, because I sent him these clips so he understands. Okay. So he understands.
He's studying.
No, listen, I can't say enough about believing in yourself. Believe. It's very, very important. Never give up. And I know everybody says that, but it's actually true. People are saying it because it's true. So I will tell my child, believe in anything you do, and never, ever dismiss yourself as being someone who's an inferior to your fellow human being. Just keep going and believe always that you can succeed and be better than the next person.
Where'd you read that?
I didn't. I just made it up.
Yeah. Okay. I'm saying
because I'm thinking of myself.
Okay. That's great.
All right, Tony?
Yeah, that's great. That's good, Gino. I just think, listen, I think everything you do for the young generation is have the passion, because having the passion creates a different workforce, because you got to work. So being passionate about something makes you want to do what you're trying to do. And then after you do that, then it doesn't become a job. And then make sure that you spend way, way less than you're spending, that, 80 or 50 rule, whatever it is that like just limit the stuff that you really need as opposed to what you want. And and then you know what, give it like a 5-year or 2-3 year, gap where it's like you're trying to meet expectations, because you need to see progress, which creates interest, and then it'll build from there. But make sure you have the passion for what you do, or else you're going to be very disappointed, and you're going to have way more obstacles in life, because you're going to be depressed. You're not going to like what you do.
Joe?
You're talking to Michael. You're talking to
Michael's too young.
No.
Besides, you're screwed, son. What would you tell them?
I don't know. I think everybody should just lower their expectations.
That's fair.
And they'll have a happier life. I have friends that are millionaires sitting right next to me, and they're fucking miserable all the time. They're always worried about the stock market. They're always worried about people not paying them. Just go out there, do your job, do your job, any job, and just do it. Take your job and just do it and live. Don't worry about investments and driving a fucking boat and being on it's going to come with time. Like it came to you with time. It came to you with time. Came to me with time. It came to you with time. Nothing happens overnight.
Time heals everything.
You know what I'm saying? Like your success is, 20 years after you built your business. Same thing for you. Success, you see it 20 years after. You don't see success tomorrow morning. I'm going to open up this and I'll be... No, that's bullshit. That's why depression is very strong out there. Depression, because people expect instant results.
Yeah, instant gratification.
It doesn't work. I understand we have the instant information on the phone. We have the instant cake made through the microwave. Pizza done in 5 minutes. Everything is instant. It wasn't like that back in the days. A cake took 2 hours. A pizza took an hour. Yeah. You had to go to the library and do your fucking research. You know what I'm saying? Today, the word instant is what's killing society.
It's a good point, Joe.
I like it. I'd throw one in there. Work hard. Live within your means. I was a wealthy barber guy reading that book. Set aside some money for an investment. Decide on your life what can I get by without? Whether it's the cappuccino at Starbucks, pick 3 or 4 things that are expensive that you can live without and invest that in some kind of small portfolio and whatever your student loan is, and just work hard, sacrifice as best you can. That would be my advice to my kids at that age. We shall call it quits there, fellas. And from an audio perspective, Tony, people who want to contact us or give us any feedback, how can they email us?
Yeah, they could email training@tgathletics.com. We're going to have other emails in the future too. And don't be afraid to comment down below, especially in our YouTube.
Yep, I was just going to say.
The views have been getting up. And comment. And if there's a topic that they want us to talk about, feel free. And you know what? We'll get the expertise on the show. Got a lot of contacts. We're just trying to share this whole knowledge and progress with other people.
Excellent.
Hold on, just to recap what he's saying. The first 3 comments, legitimate comments we get through. Legitimate comments.
Yeah.
Tony's willing to give 3 gift certificates of $250.
Perfect. Yes.
Well,
That's right.
this just in, huh, Tony?
Just in.
C'est fiatada, vista, capa.
Nice.
Did you see it? That's what I'm talking about. You see kids when you're a millionaire. Did you see how
That's
he deflated?
Oh, yeah. Didn't even
He heard
flinch.
$750. He deflated.
He hit it well, though. Gino, how's the arm, by the way? You feeling all right?
A little bit better. Yeah.
Good, yeah. Gino got a little dust up with a fender bender last week, so I'm glad you're doing better. Great to see you, and we'll see you next time. Tony,
Yes.
great job as always.
Thank
Talk
you.
to you soon. And Joe,
Thank you.
well done.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being with us today here on Building Bodies and Strengthening Minds, and we'll talk to you next time.